Governor Cuomo, but they are being live streamed on YouTube, and Megan Hart is recording this session. So we thank the public for understanding, and we welcome them to the meeting. So as noted on our pre-board agenda, the purpose of this meeting is to discuss and review publicly in advance of our town board meeting and our vote on the agendas. But as Supervisor Conway facilitates the meeting, we'll begin with comments from the councilors. We will start with Councilor Kennedy. Do you have public comment?
Do we lose her?
You just have to unmute yourself, Holly.
She disappeared off my screen.
Okay. There she is.
Thank you. Can you hear me?
We can.
Okay. I'd just like to wish Supervisor Conway a speedy recovery, and let him know how much we miss him. And I have no other comments this
Great.
time.
Thank you. So Councilor Matters, you are on mute. If you want to unmute yourself, comment.
Thank you for that. Yes, I just certainly like to you know, underscore our concern for the supervisor and you know, best wishes for his speedy recovery. It's obviously an incredible procedure that he had done, and yet, you know, Jack Conway is going to, you know, with his sense of determination and commitment, I know we're going to have him back very quickly. And you know, thank you, Deputy Supervisor Tierney, for stepping in the way that only you could do under the circumstances. I think it's great that the reopening in New York State is continuing. I understand, I think as of today, that malls are going to be allowed to open, which is nice for business, of course, subject to, I guess, them upgrading their ventilation, you know, their filtration system. So, you know, that's something that obviously is necessary to ensure everyone's safety. So we're certainly looking forward to all that. I think I just want to add in one little thing here and say this publicly to Adam Ugelski, our Director of Planning and Zoning. As I was ready to leave Town Hall today, he saw the rain coming down. We commented on it, how it was coming down in buckets, and he pulls out his umbrella and hands it to me. And I just thought that was the nicest thing anyone's done for me in a long time. So Adam, thank you very much for that. But that's it for me. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilor Fritz, if you want to unmute yourself and comment.
Thank you, Tina. Again, I would also like to wish Jack a speedy recovery. We miss him, and you are doing a wonderful job, Deputy Supervisor Tierney, but we do miss Jack, and I know you, Rick, especially do. And we hope he will be back with us soon. That being said, we are still continuing to move forward. The reopening plans are continuing for the state, and we just need to continue being cautious on an individual level so that we can keep reopening. So thank you.
Great, thank you. And to build upon that comment, I do want to publicly thank Rensselaer County for seamlessly keeping me notified on the situation as it continues throughout East Greenbush. You know, no breaks in the communication chain moving from Supervisor Conway to me. So I want the board to be aware of that. So as we typically do, we will move into our agenda review. At around 6:20 or so, we'll just take a break. And we did have a request that I want to verify continues to read into the record 2 emails before we open the public hearing. So we will just take a break around 6:20, read those emails, and then move into the public hearing. We certainly want to honor that request in the spirit of collaboration and public participation. If we don't get through the agenda review, we may need to temporarily adjourn the pre-board meeting until after both public hearings are concluded, and then we will resume the meeting. Any procedural questions or clarifications? No. Okay. So moving to the agenda, Resolution 139 is to approve meeting minutes as so superbly presented to us by our town clerk. Thank you for that. If anybody has any questions on that, they can be directed towards Helen Penguin. Resolution 140 is to accept the resignation of Officer Peter Partak. Resolution 141 is to make a conditional offer to Matthew R. Montross for the police department. And 142 is to make a conditional job offer to James J. Hallenbeck to the police department. Any comments on those three resolutions? Okay. Moving along to Resolution 143 is a resolution authorizing emergency repairs to water storage tank number 2. Any questions or comments on that one? Okay, hearing none. Resolution 144 is also for the Department of Public Works to appoint a temporary seasonal laborer to the Parks Department. Resolution 145, awarding the bid for replacement of a water main on Hudson Avenue to Next Generation Services for an amount not to exceed $70,000. I want to pause here and see if there's any questions or comments from the board. Councilor Matters?
Sure, thank you. I assume this was a budgeted item for 2020?
Yes, it actually was. We had taken out the bond for the water improvement, the water infrastructure improvement. So it does come out of that bond. And I did meet with the comptroller for his comptroller statement. And I asked him again today just to verify that that was what he wanted to put forward, that it was budgeted and paid out of the bond proceeds for the Hampton Manor Water Improvement Project. Thank you for asking.
Super, thank you.
And it's the lowest bid too that we received. I think there was 13 bids that came in.
Oh, beautiful. Nice competition.
Okay. Moving along to Resolution 146 is authorizing the Deputy Supervisor to sign a letter of agreement with Regeneron Pharmaceuticals and GPI relating to access to Temple Lane right-of-way. Any questions on that? Okay. Resolution 147, this was brought to our attention by our Director of Human Resources, so we are appreciative of that, bringing this to our attention. So essentially canceling the second quarter sick leave incentive for the non-union and non-exempt town employees. Obviously the union has a different agreement, and also our exempt employees, such as our Commissioner of Public Works and our Chief of Police, worked right straight through the pandemic. So, first of all, we thank Lisa Borst for bringing this to our attention. Any questions? Okay. 148, a resolution to authorize the Deputy Supervisor to sign an agreement for post-construction stormwater management facilities maintenance installed in connection with the Sun Oil Road asphalt plant. There is supplemental documentation that Adam Yagelski sent to the board in a separate email. And he, of course, is present, and we appreciate his presence. He does have to hop off at 7 to go to the planning board. But does anybody have any questions for Adam on this resolution? We are moving right along. Resolution 149, authorizing the supervisor or deputy supervisor to enter into agreement with Adirondack Mountain Engineering PC to prepare an engineering report for improvements to the House and General Sewer Districts to be funded using our GEIS Water and Sewer District Mitigation Funds. Any questions on this one? And our Commissioner of Public Works is just joining us right at the perfect moment. If you do have any questions for this, Adam was also involved in the review of the proposals. Hi, Dan. Thank you for joining us. We're just reviewing the resolution about Adirondack Mountain Engineering. Did any of the board members have any questions? Okay. Great. So resolution 150, this is the subject of our public hearing tonight. This is the resolution to extend the general sewer district to include certain lands encompassed by the Pheasant Hollow Major Cluster Subdivision owned by Heartland Associates and certain other lands. So any questions at all about this resolution? Rick, you're on mute. It looks like you're,
Sure. I know there's a provision for bringing in other customers outside of the sponsor's property at some point. Has there been any, to your knowledge, has there been any interest in any other hookups beyond just those slated within the sponsor's property?
You guys can hear me, right?
yes, we
Yep.
can, thank you.
Sure.
The adjoining owner next to that parcel
Mhm.
had mentioned, he owns the lot next to him. And he had mentioned that he was trying to get water, but I don't even know if he was planning on building a house someday, so it wasn't anything that he was doing right away.
Right. So it's very
Yeah, I think-
speculative then?
If I may, I think we're skipping ahead to 152. The one we're talking about is 150. Pheasant Hollow.
Oh,
Correct.
okay.
Or sewer district extension.
So as far as we're aware, there are no other applications for sewer district. But thank you
Correct.
for-
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Thank you for
Thank
asking
you.
that question.
No, that's okay.
Okay.
Great, thank you, Dan and Adam. Any other questions from board members? No? Okay, resolution 151 is rescheduling that public hearing that was scheduled for tonight at 7 p.m. Adam worked with the DOT staff to discuss their concerns and their hopes for this session. We would like to hold this in person so that the maps can be visually presented and there is an opportunity for question and answer. So what we'd like to do is begin the presentation piece at 6:30 on August the 12th and have the presentation piece allow time for question and answers before the public hearing at 7:15. So we would have a thorough opportunity for the board and any members of the public to ask questions about the traffic mitigation so that the public hearing can be an informed discussion on the public's thoughts on this traffic mitigation. So again, that would be on August the 12th at 7:15, and we would do that in person in town hall, pending any disruptions with the pandemic. Any questions, thoughts, or additional information, Adam, that you wanted to add?
I just, in that email, I sent a drawing that we would use I'll do like a short presentation to set the stage using that map. And then there's also an email with an agenda in there that kind of elaborates what Tina just said.
Okay.
So thank you for your work on that, Adam. You know, we really do want to have a clear delineation between the presentation, opportunity for question and answer, and then receiving public comment. Any additional comments on that one? Okay. Resolution 152 is again the subject of our public hearing on extending the water district for 90 Ridge Road. Any questions or comments on that from the board? No? Okay. 153 is added on today, and Rick Matters, I would respectfully request, this was typed very, very quickly. I would ask that you take a thorough look at this and enhance it only the way that you could do. This was a request made by, I believe, CDTA directly, asking us to recognize their 50th anniversary. There is one typo in the resolve. We want to add August 1st. in front of
Mhm.
that comma. But if Rick, could you take a look at that and suggest any edits and suggestions for enhancing it and improving it? Because again, we wanted to get it on the agenda, so I didn't spend a whole lot of time on it.
Sure,
Thank you.
no problem.
So, I don't talk as much as Supervisor Conway apparently. So we've moved fairly quickly through the agenda. Any questions or comments from anyone about any of the agenda items or the two attachments for our resolutions related to the sewer district and water district extension? No, okay. So one of the topics of discussion that we wanted to talk about is the town board meeting next Wednesday will be in person in town hall. Obviously, our first, our third and fourth resolutions are appointing police officers, so we expect them to probably bring a family member or two. We did have a meeting within town hall with Ellen Pangburn, Dan Fiacco was there, Scott Gallery, Megan Hart, and Lisa O'Brien to plan for that in-person meeting and how we would ensure the public participation while also maintaining safety for the staff. So there will be, we are going to pursue having one of our court officers who are used to doing that type of screening at the door be present to answer the door and allow people to come in while checking their temperatures, asking them those pertinent questions for safety. Dan Fiacco will take the lead and spacing out the chairs for our public participants. And Ellen is going to work with Dan on figuring out how to space the town board, Ellen and Dave Gruenberg, so that we will be on camera, but 6 feet apart. We will require anybody who attends to wear a mask. There are disposable masks available if they don't have one, but it will be a requirement. We will allow the police officers and their families certainly to take photos outside in front of those beautiful flowers, but also have some use of the community room if they wanted to do so. So any questions or comments on that?
I ordered the signs today, so they should be hopefully tomorrow, if not Friday at the latest.
So I do want to thank Megan. She took the lead on writing up. We thought that when people come to the door and they see the signs about notice to the town hall, it's already too late. They've gotten out of their car, they've parked, they've walked, and they get there. So Megan had a fantastic idea and put forward some language for a sandwich board sign. And she worked with Dan and Ellen on the wording so that people are aware of, they can gain access to the building if they ring the doorbell. Appointments are certainly preferred, so that people are available and able to process whatever service they need. But there will also be a screening check. And at the front door, the staff have put out a clipboard with a notice of the date that somebody comes in, the time, and that they were asked these screening questions. So town hall is moving towards reopening, but it will not have full access yet. Obviously, the concerns about the increased cases throughout the country impact us here in the capital region. So wanted to put that forward and see if any town board members had any concerns, questions, suggestions.
Tina,
Yes, sir.
can I just I'm going to just ask if just very quickly, just to go back to the two exhibits for the water and sewer district extensions. I can see from these legal descriptions that that these are based on filed maps, and I'm assuming the applicants consultants generated these descriptions. And I'm kind of wondering maybe if Adam or Danny or both might know this, but do we have the town's engineering consultant, just review these descriptions, make sure they close okay and make sure there's closure on each one. And I was just kind of wondering if we just rely on, the applicants, consultants when they process these descriptions, or we have our own review done by town, the consultant for the town of East Greenbush? Whoever that consultant, I know we have a number of engineering consultants, but I was wondering if one of them, reviewed these descriptions, either one or more of our consultants, did a review to ensure that they're copacetic.
Yeah, I can speak to that. For Pheasant Hollow, yeah, we had Adirondack Mountain Engineering review the map plan and report, including the legal description and, the related materials like the cost estimate and the design and such.
Sure.
That one obviously is a little more complicated, much more expensive. And, in connection with, a major subdivision. So that was reviewed as part of that subdivision review process.
Right.
Like as a separate task. For the water extension, we did not have a separate engineering consultant review that. The legal description was prepared by, I believe, Hirschberg and Hirschberg. And we, Dave Gruenberg, town attorney, did the review on that. But that one's considerably less complicated, involving that one parcel. So, and I think the requirement from the town law, which Dave has talked about extensively, because there are very specific procedural requirements with these extensions, is for the map plan and report to be prepared by a licensed engineer, and it was so.
Okay, yeah, no, that's fine. I know Hirschberg a little bit. They're very good folks, but I was more concerned with that one actually. Santos, I know very well. I know Al McDonald personally, the surveyor for that firm, so I know he's probably the one that did the one for the sewer district extension. But yeah, no, that sounds good. I just thought I'd ask, being given the significance of these, being that they're utility district extensions, I was just kind of a little more curious as opposed to some of our other projects. But yeah, thanks for that, Adam. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Rick. So in keeping an eye on the clock, we have a few minutes before we move into our first public hearing. And as I mentioned at the beginning of the meeting, I was asked to read an email into the comment before we moved into that public hearing. So I know the board members received a copy of that email, but I would like to take a moment and read that before we open the public hearing, if I could be so indulged. It is to Supervisor Jack Conway, Deputy Tina Tierney, and the other town board members and town clerk. As a lifelong East Greenbush resident homeowner, I strongly believe in participation in the government should not be a spectator sport. We all have rights as citizens to have conversations with our town leaders in the public space. Mine is in the form of questions. I hope my questions will inspire additional conversation and questions during and hopefully after this meeting. Here are my questions. Number one, the hearing notice for the public hearing meeting for July 8, 2020 states that the applicants are Heartland Associates, Inc. and 1560 Skyline Drive, Inc. The documents are on the town of East Greenbush related to this hearing. Maps, plans, and reports list 15 Skyline Drive LLC as one of the application parties. Was it a typo in the public hearing notice? And the response I would like to provide to that is the application and public hearing are consistent in terms of the applications. There is no typo. And number two, pardon me, I just have to finish. Per most of the documents submitted in the application, Heartland Associates, Inc. and 1560 Skyline Drive, Inc. LLC are the current owners of the property where the proposed subdivision is to be created. I believe it is in the best interest now in connection. I'm sorry, I just got cut off a little bit. I'm going to move on to question 3. Has the CEO and registered agent's name of Heartland Associates, Inc., 1560 Skyline Drive, Inc., LLC, and or their representatives currently in the past had business before the town of East Greenbush? The response to that is yes. Number 4, has the legal subdivision of the Pheasant Hollow property taken place? If not, is the subdivision contingent on the approval of the town of East Greenbush for sewer connection and services? No, the subdivision has not received final approval. Question 5, are you aware of any actions taken by the owners of the Pheasant Hollow property regarding lawsuits against the town of Skodak regarding disputes pertaining to water and or sewer services? If so, do you have any concerns that the owners might bring a lawsuit against the town of East Greenbush if the proposed sewer extension is denied? No, we're not aware of any such lawsuits. Number 6, have the applicants considered requesting sewer services from the town of Skodak, given the larger part of the Pheasant Hollow property and 62.5 acre and a tax map number are included that is located in the town? The current application is for sewer within the town of East Greenbush is the answer. Number 7, I believe the town board strives to be forward-looking in regards to the Pheasant Hollow property. Again, 62.5 acre tax map that is located in the town of Skodak. Are there any concerns that the current owners or future owners will further develop that property and petition the town of East Greenbush to extend both the sewer and water services to that parcel? If so, what would your big concerns? We only have the one petition in front of us as our response, and we will certainly review and do a thorough review of any other petitions that come forward in accordance with the law and engineering best practices. Number 8, historically, the town of East Greenbush has been very flexible in regards to approving zoning variances and requests for zoning changes for those who apply for them. I understand that the town of East Greenbush has no jurisdiction or say how the town of Skodak regulates land use. Both Pheasant Hollow property and other large neighboring parcels in that area appear to be prime developable land, and if zoning is changed by both townships to other than a low density development to higher density zoning, such as for apartment complexes and general business retail development, do you have any concerns on the effect of the quality of life for those residents and property owners on Phillips Road, let alone rest of the residents and property owners of the town of East Greenbush? So the response for that is we haven't received any applications for any zoning variances, the process is set forth in our comprehensive zoning law if that does happen, and we would certainly do a thorough review of any applications that come forward. So it is 6:30. We do want to move into our public hearing. I'm just going to finish this email because this is such nice information. I'm confident that the town of East Greenbush elected officials and all of its board members strive to act in the best interests of its residents and property owners. I hope these questions will become food for thought for the members of the town board and public at the July 8th, 2020 public hearing. I'm requesting this email be read at the meeting as well as incorporated into the minutes. I also request that you share an email by any other interested parties, both pro and con in this action. I haven't received any other ones related to this. I did receive one for the public hearing that I will read at that time. I realize that none of us can predict the future, but we can do things that influence us, like a game of chess. You sometimes have to plan 10 moves ahead to win the game. Best regards, David Turpin. So with that, we will pause our pre-board meeting and move into our public hearing scheduled for 6:30. So I would ask everyone to please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America
America,
and to the republic for which it stands,
which stands
one nation,
under God,
indivisible,
indivisible,
with
liberty,
liberty and justice for all.
justice for all.
Thank you. So we would ask that anyone not speaking, please mute yourself, but we will begin with the town clerk's roll call.
Supervisor Conway, absent. Deputy Supervisor,
Present.
Counselor Kennedy,
Present.
Counselor Matters,
Present.
Counselor Fritz.
Present.
Notice of public hearing. Order pursuant to section 193, 1A of the town law, Pheasant Hollow sewer extension. Heartland Associates Incorporated and 1560 Skyline Drive Incorporated has filed a map, plan, and report for a certain extension of the general sewer district, together with a petition from a qualified number of property owners within the proposed extension of the district, requesting said extension and a descriptions of the improvements to be made by the applicants to their property and a legal description of the extension of the district. The boundaries of the proposed district extension are set forth in the description annexed hereto. As set forth in the map, plan, and report, the estimated total project cost is $128,506. The entire cost of the project shall be funded by the developer applicants. For the individuals, homeowners, not part of the sponsor property, there will be a one-time charge of $1,000 to cover the cost of the fee, curb stop, and engineering costs. Residents will pay maintenance repair costs on the basis of $1.55 per linear front footage. Sewer use charges at current rates are $21.13 for a minimum use of 10,500 gallons and $2.40 per 1,000 gallons above the minimum change. An estimate of the annual cost for a typical household would be $384. The town board shall hold a public hearing to consider the petition and receive public comment thereon on today, the 8th day of July, 2020 at 6:30 p.m. virtually via Zoom. Pursuant to Executive Order Number 202.1, issued by Governor Cuomo on March 12, 2020, and advisories issued by federal, state, and local officials related to the COVID-19 virus, the town board will convene the public hearing remotely as follows. The public hearing will commence at 6:30 p.m. and shall be conducted through the use of Zoom, a web-based video conferencing tool with local desktop client and smartphone applications that will allow board members and the public to participate electronically and remotely by audio and with or without a video connection. The meeting will also be live streamed on the town's YouTube channel. To access the board's public hearing, you have several options. You can go to visit the Zoom website. You can click on the link provided with a smartphone, or you can call with the phone number listed. Important notes for voice-only participants. Please note that when dialing in, voice only, you may experience time on hold until being admitted into the meeting. To protect the privacy of your phone number, please call in dialing *67 before the phone number provided. To view live stream, go to the town's YouTube channel. Please note that this public hearing will be conducted remotely only and will not be held at Town Hall, which is currently closed. Pursuant to Executive Order Number 202.1, this meeting will be recorded and transcribed and posted to the town's website. Written comment may also be submitted to the town board, Town of East Greenbush, 225 Columbia Turnpike, Rensselaer, New York, at any time prior to the hearing. A copy of the map, plan, and report may be reviewed on the town's website, as well as a copy is also available in the town clerk's office, and you may call for an appointment. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So we welcome the public to this hearing. It is an official proceeding with the public is accorded the right to be heard. It provides our town board with an opportunity to hear from the members of our community. We just want to note that this is not a question and answer session. The purpose is for the public to share comments with the town board. If any member of the public does have questions, we will gladly accept those questions. We will listen to those, and we will certainly do our best to provide any responses over the course of the next week before our town board meeting next Wednesday. Additionally, at our town board meeting next week, we will begin the meeting with an opportunity for additional public comment if there's anyone who wanted to add any information. So our procedure, we just want to let you know that Megan Hart is managing our Zoom session. We thank her for that. She has admitted participants from the waiting rooms. Participants will be muted upon entry, and Megan will call upon them to speak. Only the host can unmute anyone. We will have one participant speak at a time, and when they are finished with their remarks, they will be asked to be muted again. We are going to set a time limit for comments to 3 minutes. We hope that people can adhere to that. If they want to run over, we will accept email, phone call, additional information at any point during the week. Okay. You can also use the chat box. It's visible to all participants. We will enter any chats into the public record if they are typed in. And we hope to have a meaningful dialogue. Our meeting is live streamed on YouTube, and it is being recorded for anyone. So our Steve Hart is present. So we would like to give him an opportunity for a very brief presentation if he would like that opportunity. Steve, would you like that opportunity?
Certainly. Hey, Megan, do you happen to have that map I sent earlier, or do you want me to see if I can pull it up?
Yep, I should be able to. Can everybody see that?
Perfect. So In essence, this is the boundary that you see in the white outline here. If we say north is going up the page, on the right-hand side, which would be the easterly side, is the crisscrossing subdivision. And basically, the lands that you see here, if you can see the golf holes here, so that's the golf course, the driving range is on this side here. And then there's, I think, 5 homes and 1 vacant piece of land running here along Hayes Road. So really, that's the area of land in the white outline. You've got a legal description for that as well. That's being proposed as part of the what we're calling the Pheasant Hollow Sewer District. And it's similar to what we had shown before. The area that we are proposing 9 lots in is this area right up through here, and that's the whole reason of proposing the sewer district extension so that we could get a grinder pump service. We're going to be installing about 2,300 feet of pipe. Low spot being in the proximity of this pond. We're going up Phillips Road and then heading easterly to an existing manhole that's at the intersection of crisscrossing. And then we are tying in the neighbors here, at least to their property lines along, that would be Hayes Road. So aside from that, certainly if there's questions that any board members may have or anyone in the public, we'll do our best to address them.
Okay. Thank you very much for that overview. Information is available for anyone else. So now we'd like to invite the public to comment. We will have a time limit for public comment. So we'd like to begin with anyone. I do have 2 email comments that I will read, but we want to give priority to the people who are here first. So I would like to begin with anyone who would like to speak in support of the project. Is there anyone present who would like to speak in support of the project? If you're unfamiliar with how to unmute yourself, you can type in the chat box. Okay, I'm going to ask a second time, is there anyone present who would like to speak in support of the project?
Mike Rubenstein has questions regarding.
You are certainly, it is a public hearing. You are certainly willing to pose those questions. But we will not be doing a question and answer session. If you'd prefer to wait until after the public hearing has concluded, you are certainly welcome to do that as well. You're on mute, so we can't hear you. Okay.
Thank you. Steve had just mentioned if there were any questions from the board or the public. If my questions cannot be answered now, then I'm willing to wait for the next week of the board meeting. I live at 2 Crisscrossing, which is on the southwest corner of Hayes and Crisscrossing, and based upon the map that Steve showed, the project is going to be butting up, excuse me, to the back of my property. My questions are, what is the expected effect along Hayes Road? Certainly on or near my property, as well as behind my property, because again, the boundary of the project butts up to the back of my property.
Did you have any additional comments or questions that you wanted to submit for the public hearing record?
No, that's it.
Okay, thank you for those. Do we have anyone else present who would like to speak in support of the project? Okay, I'm going to read an email that I received. I am unable to attend tonight's town board meeting and like to have my comments read at today's meeting. I, Robert Yuha, residing at 22 Crisscrossing in East Greenbush, own property at 187 Hayes Road, Castleton, New York, in which the proposed sewer project is going to affect my property in a positive way, and I'm in support of the project. The properties that the sewer project is affecting have septic systems in a clay soil condition that are not the best soil conditions to have septic systems, causing shorter system lifespans and greater cost. I've replaced the septic systems at both homes at 193 and 187 within the past 15 years, costing close to $10,000 each. The systems will need to be replaced again due to the poor soil conditions and most likely at almost double the cost. This would also increase the value of my property and the property around mine. I understand there are people that are opposed to the sewer expansion. I'd like to ask them a question. What do you have for a sewer system, and why do you oppose me from having the same issue? I thank you for your time in reading my comment in today's session. Sincerely, Robert Yuha. So now I'd like to open comments up to anyone who would like to speak in opposition of this sewer extension.
There's two participants that don't have video.
Okay.
One is a cell phone.
Okay. If that person on this cell phone would like to speak, please unmute yourself and enter your comment into the record.
Actually, it looks like that person has dropped out of the meeting.
Okay. If they return, we'll certainly invite them to participate again. Anybody else like to speak in opposition? Okay. And I have another email that was asked to be read, so I will do that now. This is to Supervisor Jack Conway, Deputy Tina Tierney, and other town board members and town clerk. As a longtime East Greenbush resident and homeowner, I strongly believe in participation in government should not be a spectator sport. We all have rights as citizens to have conversations with our town leaders in the public space. I hope my public statement will inspire additional conversation and questions during and hopefully after this meeting. Here is my statement. Number one, the hearing notice for the public meeting for July 8, 2020 states that the applicants are Heartland Associates, Inc. and 1560 Skyline Drive, Inc. The documents on the town of East Greenbush relating to this hearing, maps, plan, and report list 1560 Skyline Drive LLC as one of the application parties. I have a concern over the legal name differences and how it might negatively affect the applicant's approval or denial of the application. Number two, per most of the documents submitted in the application, Heartland Associates, Inc. and 1560 Skyline Drive, Inc. LLC are the current owners of the property where the proposed subdivision is to be created. I believe it is in the best interest of all governing bodies of the town of East Greenbush, as well as the residents, to know who people in the past, present, and future have and will make significant impacts on our citizens that include, but not limited to, effect on property values, quality of life, school district costs, and a whole host of other subtle but no less important activities in our town. LLCs offer a legal veil that favors the best interests of the individuals who are the CEO and registered agents. There are other governmental bodies that require all CEO and registered agents to be listed on legal applications for funding or otherwise. One example is the Rensselaer County Industrial Development Agency, IDA. I highly recommend a requirement for the town of East Greenbush governing bodies require these applicants, Heartland Associates, Inc. and 1560 Skyline Drive, Inc. LLC, as well as any other LLCs coming before the town in the future. Knowing who's behind an LLC adds an important layer of transparency. Number three, if the applicants state that the legal subdivision of the Pheasant Hollow property is contingent on the approval of the town of East Greenbush for sewer connections and services, I would hope the board members weigh this carefully as it pertains to a self-created discussions. Number four, I would encourage the town governing bodies, not just for this applicant, but for future applicants as well. Do research during the submission of any LLC applicant, which I believe might help mitigate exposure to the town of East Greenbush, such as applicants' lawsuits against other towns being forced to approve a project. Number five, I am curious why the applicants didn't consider requesting sewer service from the town of Schodack, given the larger part of the Pheasant Hollow property, in parentheses 62.5 acre tax map, the citation is there, is located in that town. I believe that the town board strives to be forward-looking in regards to the Pheasant Hollow property, in parentheses 62.5 acre tax map citation, that is located in the town of Schodack. I have concerns that the current owners or future owners will further develop that property and petition the town of East Greenbush to extend both the sewer and water services to that parcel. I am concerned based upon what might be built on that property might put a strain both on our town's water and sewer services. There might also be a disproportionate increase in costs associated with any future extension of services to that parcel and adjoining parcels. Number seven, historically, the town of East Greenbush has been very flexible in regards to approving zoning variances and requests for zoning changes for those who apply for them. I understand that the town of East Greenbush has no jurisdiction or say how the town of Schodack regulates land use. Both Pheasant Hollow property and other large neighboring parcels in that area appear to be prime developable land. I have concerns if zoning is changed by both townships to other than a low density development zoning to a higher density zoning such as for apartment complexes and general business retail development. I would believe this would have a significant negative effect on the quality of life for those residents and property owners on Phillips Road, and somewhat indirectly the rest of the residents and property owners of the town of East Greenbush by taking a more quote green unquote out of the green in East Greenbush. I am confident that the town of East Greenbush elected offices and all other offices strive to act in the best interests of its residents and property owners. I hope these questions will become food for thought for members of the town board and public at the July 8, 2020 public hearing. Because of my concerns, I do not support the approval of the sewer extension application. I'm requesting this email be read at the meeting as well as incorporated into the minutes. I also request that you share this email with any other interested parties, both pro and con, in this action. I realize that none of us can predict the future, but we can do things that influence it. Like a game of chess, you sometimes have to plan 10 moves ahead to win the game. Please read this email as my statement to be read at tonight's public hearing, as well as incorporated into the minutes and public record. Thank all the board members for continuing to be transparent, making priority number one the best interests of the town of East Greenbush residents. Best regards, David Turpin. So I will ask again, is there anyone else who is present who would like to speak in support or opposition of the project? Hearing none. Any other member of the public want to make a comment for the record? Hearing none, I make a motion to close the hearing. May I please have a second? Rick, you're on mute. Can you unmute and second it?
I will second that. Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
So, Ellen, do you want to take a roll call for closing the public hearing? And you're on mute, Ellen. I'm sorry, we can't hear you. That's okay. We missed your voice.
That's okay. Deputy Supervisor,
Yes.
Counselor Kennedy,
Holly, you're on mute as well. Rick and Bridget, can you unmute while we're waiting for Holly? Thank you.
Counselor Kennedy,
Yes.
Counselor Matters,
You're on mute, Rick.
I'm trying.
Yes. Sorry
Counselor
about that.
Fritz,
Yes.
Okay, stay unmuted because
Yep.
we're going to move into the July 8th, 2020 public hearing scheduled for 6:45. It is called to order. Please rise for the pledge. Pledge allegiance
allegiance to the
to the
flag
flag of the
United
United States of
States of
America
America,
and
To
to
the
the
republic
republic
which stands,
For which it stands,
one nation,
one
under
nation, under God,
God, indivisible,
indivisible,
with liberty and
liberty
justice for all.
and justice for all.
Thank you.
Supervisor Conway, I know is absent. Deputy Supervisor,
Present.
Counselor Kennedy,
Present.
Counselor Matters,
Present.
Counselor Fritz,
Present.
notice of public hearing, order pursuant to section 193, 1A of the town law. Number one, Lawrence E. Sanders and Clara Ines Sanders have filed a petition seeking an extension of the water district to a 24.35 acre parcel of property owned by the petitioners on 90 Ridge Road. The petition includes a survey of the property, a description of the improvements to be made by petitioner to his own property, and a legal description of the property. Number two, the boundaries of the proposed district extension are set forth as Exhibit A, annexed here too. Number three, as set forth in the petition and the map plan and report and the supplement petition, the water district will not be required to make any expenditure in connection with this extension. Petitioner estimates that they will be required to expend $15,000 of their own funds in order to connect their residents to the water district, but this shall not be a cost to the water district. Number 4, it is estimated that the annual cost to the property owner for water service from the district will be $1,045. The town board shall hold a public hearing to consider the petition and receive public comment thereon today on the 8th day of July, 2020 at 6:45 p.m. virtually via Zoom. Pursuant to Executive Order Number 202.1 issued by Governor Cuomo on March 12, 2020, and advisories issued by federal, state, and local officials related to the COVID-19 virus, the town board will convene the public hearing remotely as follows. The public hearing will commence at 6:45 p.m. and shall be conducted through the use of Zoom, a web-based video conferencing tool with local desktop client and smartphone applications that will allow board members and the public to participate electronically and remotely by audio and with or without a video connection. The meeting will also be live streamed on the town's YouTube channel. To access the board's public hearing, you have several options. You can go to the Zoom website, click on the link provided with a smartphone, or call the number provided. To view the live stream, again, you can go to the YouTube, the town's YouTube channel. Important notes for voice-only participants. Please note that when dialing in, voice only, you may experience time on hold until being admitted to the meeting. To protect the privacy of your phone number, please call in dialing *67 before the number provided. Please note that this public hearing will be conducted remotely only and will not be held at Town Hall, which is currently closed. Pursuant to the Executive Order Number 202.1, this meeting will be recorded and transcribed and posted to the town's website. Written comment may also be submitted to the town board, Town of East Greenbush, 225 Columbia Turnpike, Rensselaer, New York, at any time prior to the hearing. Link for the map, plan, and report is on our website, as well as there's also a copy available in the town clerk's office. And you may call for an appointment to view these. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So as we stated at the beginning of the previous public hearing, that this is an official proceeding during which the public is accorded the right to be heard. We welcome the public to this proceeding. It provides the town board with an opportunity to hear from the members of our community. So again, please note that this is not a question and answer session, that the purpose is to share comments from the public with the town board. If any member of the public does have any questions, we will gladly listen to those and accept those and do our best to provide or obtain any responses over the course of the next week before our town board meeting. Additionally, at our town board meeting next week, we will begin our meeting with an opportunity for public comment. So Ellen reviewed some procedural information, but we also want to let people know that participants will be muted upon entry, will be called upon to speak. That will be done by Megan Hart. Only the host can unmute our participants, and one participant can speak at a time. When they have finished their remarks, they will be muted again, and we will have a time limit for comments of 3 minutes. Comments can also be entered into the chat box that will be visible to all participants and entered into the public record. So we hope to have a meaningful dialogue. We encourage participation. It looks like our participation is low, but we do encourage it. So the meeting is also live streamed and recorded. So we'd like to give our Commissioner of Public Works, Dan Fiacco, a moment to give a brief description of the project before we accept our public comments. So Dan, if you wanted to unmute yourself and describe the project.
Well, the town had done the water consolidation, and the opposite side of the Sanders property was included in the consolidation. So the town extended the main from a previous applicant who wanted to be in the water district, which was Dr. Swami's property. So we extended it down basically 2 lots that were included in the water district. So the main stopped right at the Sanders property. We ended up putting a shut off for their property, knowing that he wanted to be in the water district, and everything's there. Our ultimate goal is to continue that water main and tie it in to where it dead ends at Sunset Lane. so we can continue the loop. If there's a water break on Celeste, it's a dead end, they'll be out of water, and same thing at Sunset. So if we continue that water loop, then we can provide water to each neighborhood.
Great, thank you for that. So now we would like to invite the public to comment. Again, there is a time limit for speakers for 3 minutes. I do note that I have an email comment that I will read once any participants who are present have an opportunity to speak. So is there anyone present who would like to speak in support of the project? Megan, do we have anybody on the phone or?
No.
What we see is what we have. Okay. Anyone who would like to speak in support of the project? Anyone who would like to speak in support of the project? Okay, we asked that 3 times. So anyone who would like to speak in opposition of the project? Anyone who would like to speak in opposition of the project? Okay, so since we had no one volunteer their comments here, I will read the email that we received. I'm sorry you have to hear my voice again. Good afternoon, Deputy Supervisor. Please read this email as my statement to be read at tonight's public hearing, as well as incorporated into the minutes and public record. Thank all the board members for continuing to be transparent, making priority number 1 the best interests of the town of East Greenbush residents. Let me be clear up front that I am not opposed to the town of East Greenbush providing a water hookup service for clean and fresh source of water to any town of East Greenbush property owner. However, I have several comments and questions regarding this petition. At this time, neither are in support or opposition to this petition, but rather food for thought for those who may be affected currently or in the future by any decision that will be made by the town of East Greenbush going forward. The parcel in question is a rather large property, 24.328 acres. So are the 2 adjoining properties, 25.810 and 36.187 acres. In addition, there are several other larger properties on Ridge Road, some with 1 single-family home already built in multiple large tracts that may be candidates for subdivision and development. I have concerns regarding further development on the Ridge Road corridor. They are, number 1, not knowing how far the water, sewer line service and how high the cost to extend them to the end of Ridge Road. I have a concern that any future large tracts of development will have an unanticipated stress on the future town of East Greenbush finances and or quality of water sewer services that would indirectly or directly affect the residents of the town of East Greenbush having to share burden, any significant additional cost to usage and frontage charges. Number 2, I am also concerned that there is an apathy amongst the public as well as a lack of participation in government regarding growth in the community and its impact on its infrastructure. Number 3, I am concerned given the large tracts of land that could be subdivided and developed around Ridge Road corridor zoning designation to be modified to, by, and for potential developers for their own and not necessarily for the benefit of the rest of the town's residents. Best regards, David Turpin. So I will ask again, is there anyone who would like to submit a public comment during this hearing? Okay, so hearing no comments, I make a motion to close the public hearing. May I please have a second?
I'll second that.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I'd ask everyone to unmute themselves so that our town clerk could take the roll call. Thank you.
Deputy Supervisor,
Yes.
Counselor Kennedy,
Yes.
Counselor Matters,
Yes.
Counselor Fritz,
Yes.
So thank you everyone for participation in those public hearings. I'll put my notes away. So we can resume our pre-board meeting if there's any discussion items or comments or questions that the town board members have.
I think I am good on my end.
Okay. Bridget, any comments, questions?
I think I'm all set right now. Thank you.
How about Holly? Any questions or comments?
I have no questions or comments at this time.
Thank you. And Commissioner Fiacco, do you have anything that you would like to convey to the board or the public at this time?
I am sorry that I got on late and I got distracted with something at the house and I'm like, oh my God. So I'm very sorry.
No
I didn't-
apology necessary. You work a very long day. Your tardiness we're glad that you had something to do at your home.
But did anyone have any questions regarding the resolutions or no? No? Okay.
No, you didn't really miss anything. It was a very quiet and quick meeting. Jack's presence is missed in so many ways, and one of them is drawing it out.
Is he watching at the moment?
Oh, I don't know. I'll probably get a text if he is and saying it. Okay, so with no further comments or questions, Megan or Ellen, I want to give you the opportunity to update the board on any of the reopening plans that I may have not represented fully or accurately.
I think you covered it. We're still doing it by appointment or ringing the doorbell. That's the biggest thing, having, everybody screened. We've been kind of updating the process a little bit at the door, just better tracking. So that way, if there ever was either a contact tracer calls us and says, hey, somebody said that they were at town hall on this day, we can go back and notify people that may have been here at the same time. Or if an employee were to contract it, we could kind of do the same.
Great. Those are really important points. We certainly want to protect the health and well-being of the town staff and their families as well, which really is an important part of being an employer. That really is essential. And I just want to compliment Lisa Borst, our Director of Human Resources, who has been pursuing what happens if a positive case comes into town hall and exposes the staff. So that information is readily accessible. Ellen, any comments?
No, I was just going to reiterate, we went from appointments 8:30 to noon, and again, we didn't have that many. It's been very few. The hours the last couple of weeks now have been 9 to 4. I've seen a couple more this week, but again, every department, including myself, my office, we're able to handle things, through the front door or, meeting people out front for very brief amounts of time. So again, to keep everyone in town hall safe and, residents not crossing, too many paths, keeping the visitors numbers down. I think it's very important right now, especially with, some more cases and what's been in the news lately. And again, we all wish Jack well. He's truly missed, but Tina, I think he's with you stepping up as much as you have the last couple of weeks, and we all greatly appreciate it. And so thank you.
Just a quick housekeeping thing. We're currently near the end, hopefully, of the fax line issue that we've been having in town hall. For the past week and a half, we've noticed our fax lines haven't been working. Mary has been great with kind of navigating through that, and I've been stepping in where I need to kind of put authority down and tell them that that's absolutely unacceptable, given what's going on, and that's just, we are a government building. I have worked with our contacts right at First Light to escalate the ticket, and now there's a good possibility within the near future we'll be moving our fax lines over to fiber as well. We were hesitant to do that last year, but now the recommendations are coming to do that. The issue is we contract with First Light for all of our phones, but the fax lines remain with Verizon. And there's been a lot of back and forth of whose responsibility it is and everything else. So this will eliminate the back and forth and we'll open it back up. But I've been trying to stress that, during this time, a lot of our stuff's being handled remotely and they need to fix this issue immediately.
Well, thank you. Thank you for updating people on that. Okay, with no further comments, I make a motion to adjourn our pre-board meeting. May I please have a second?
I will second that.
Okay. Deputy Supervisor,
Yes.
Counselor Matters,
Yes.
Counselor Kennedy,
Yes.
Counselor Fritz.
Yes.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Megan, for doing the tech piece. Thanks, Ellen, for everything. Dan, it's always nice to see you. Thank you for working so hard.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone.
Ditto.
Thank
Have a good night, everyone.
Thank